All righty.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. We are all done with our breakfast,
yes,
which was
family
fantastic.
breakfast.
And what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks is watching our church service online, followed by a huge breakfast. That's my motivation to get the whole family involved, right? And today we expanded that to my sister and my nephew and his girlfriend, right?
Which I love.
Which
yes.
we love. Took a little walk through the neighborhood, which was beautiful. It's cold, but the sun's shining.
Felt good.
And it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Are you excited to see Thomas and Holly? Holly? Yeah.
Another one of Nicky's favorites. She'll be here soon, buddy.
Get the wiring in. It took so.
We got it right. Turn it on. Look, look. You want to see?
Perfect,
Watch
yeah.
this. Watch this. Bam. Lights on. How's that going, Nicky? Delicious? You set up pretty good, buddy.
I only have really Johnson.
Yeah, I don't need, you know, I have no lenses. I finally got a pair of glasses. I went like 3 years to check on. Oh my God, Nina.
So Nicky just decided he wanted to walk in the backyard. Hey, what are you doing? You fixing it? What, are you so happy, huh? You wanna give me a hug? Have a hug? Come here. Oh. So happy? Huh? You wanna go back inside? It's kinda cold, man. Alright, let's go. Let's get back inside.
We have the beach playing above us. You can probably see the bottom of that. We've got a beautiful fire going. So
Behind us, so we're nice and toasty.
all is perfect. So today is Sunday Q&A,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which
we
was
have a lot
Natasha's
of
idea.
questions,
Natasha
right.
Smith, brilliant. Coming up
Strong
with
work, woman.
one good idea after the next. And so we asked everybody, all of our viewers, to submit questions. And we have a bunch compiled.
Yep.
We have tons. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them today. We'll have to.
There's a lot. Yeah.
It's a possibility we'll do some in another video.
Okay.
But let's dive right into it. So the first one is from one of my favorites, Lala. Lala just cracks me up. If anyone has seen Lala's posts, she just cracks me up every single time. So her question is, what Shan's hair smell like? And are chickens still a no-go? I'll start with what your hair smells like.
Sure.
It smells like blueberry muffins, sunshine, and rainbows.
There you go.
All things delicious. And the chickens, that's like happening. The chickens are still in the incubation period. We're processing that whole idea.
So it's funny because we were talking about grain-free food for the dogs, so that'll be certainly grain-free food for Rocky.
What else were we talking about when we went for our walk today?
A lot.
We were talking about where the chickens will possibly go for. It's a possibility. We're still talking about it, Lala. We'll see. There's a lot of things happening. We're having a hard time just taking care of the dogs. So I know people hate when I adjust the camera, but I can't help it.
Why are you doing
I don't know. I just want to go
You're
toward you.
not supposed to.
It should go toward you, Shannon. You're much better looking than I am. The camera should be focused on you more. So the chickens are a possibility, but I'm having a hard time just taking care of the dogs and the children.
Chickens are a possibility.
We'll see.
I'll sell you for a chicken.
It's to be continued. That's
And
the
then
best
how are
thing.
you going to explain when we eat the chicken, it's going to go in?
We're gonna eat the chicken, we're gonna eat the eggs. It's gonna be part of our Sunday breakfasts.
You don't eat the chicken?
No, we're not gonna eat it. We raise chicken for the eggs. That's it. We get the eggs. We give them to the neighbors.
Oh my God.
We let them run around the backyard by the pizza store. All right, let's move it on. Thank you so much, Lala. Great question. All right, the next one's from Karen Ali Frost. She wants to know, why does Rocky wear a harness?
Oh, well.
Well, the harness is for control.
Yeah.
We're doing our best not to wear. First of all, if you just use a regular leash around Rocky's neck, he laughs. He's
Yes.
like, yeah, right, you're gonna direct me.
And we can't put a regular collar on Rocky because he is very sloppy when he eats and drinks.
Yeah.
He drools, and if you notice, we're constantly wiping him. But if
Yeah.
we don't wipe him, he actually gets a fungus infection.
Yeah.
So you can't use a regular collar because
Right.
if it's wet, it's not good to keep against his skin.
Yeah, and so it's big just because
Yeah.
he's gigantic.
Right.
But I know people have suggested maybe it has a calming effect, and that probably.
It probably
Maybe
could,
it does,
but for him, it's
frankly.
just simply he can't have anything around his neck.
But it's a great product.
It gets wet.
We love
he
it.
gets a fungus infection.
Yes, indeed. All right, the next one's from our good friend Jules. Jules, one of our favorites for sure. Lots of contact with Jules,
Yeah.
our Irish friend. So it says, now that you guys have Sam alongside Johnny, do you think you and Shannon would get a weekend or a night away? Obviously, when COVID clears off. You know what's funny is that people know us enough now.
Right.
Jules has probably been watching, I don't know, probably since last March or so. And she's seen us almost every day, and she knows that we have not been away.
Right.
So if you're new to the channel, I mean, I've said this a handful of times. Since Nicky's been born, we have slept away from him. We could probably count on one hand.
Twice.
Yeah. So it's not a common thing. It's definitely part of our journey. Do I think we would do it? Yes. Well, the short answer is yes. I think Sam is completely capable of doing that. I think John and Sam together could absolutely do it. You know, Sam is very well grounded. Gotta remember, Sam is 4 years old than John. He's extremely well grounded.
Hi, Doctor.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, Nicky.
No school?
No school today. Sunday fun day.
Nicky would be fine. I don't think he'd be like, where's mom? He'd be like, I got Sam and Johnny.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you included Sam's fiance in the
Victoria. That would be added
in the
bonus.
picture, you know,
Yeah.
Sam, Victoria, and Johnny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I say definitely. But like you said, Jules, it's COVID season still. And, you know, it's funny. I was talking to one of the kids at school about going skiing. And she goes, her family has a ski house and they go every weekend. But it's the same deal because, okay, that was something for the cameras that we just missed. I guess we could say Nicky just came out of the bathroom. He wasn't quite dressed.
Happens.
Yeah.
Naked.
Not as often as it used to, though.
Not
That's
as
funny. That was like
right.
a flash
When
from
he
the
was,
past
I
right
know.
there.
When he was little, he would run around the house naked all the time.
Naked was a regular
All the time.
occurrence. But anyway, just going back to what I was saying about the skiing.
Right.
They're operating, that's what we would do in the winter. I don't know if I would fly somewhere far away if there was an emergency, like somewhere warm. I don't think I would do that yet. But the ski lifts are not operating, the mountains aren't operating at full
Right.
capacity. There's long lines, so I don't think I really want to do that. And would I fly to Florida? I don't think so. Would you right now? Maybe down the line. But again, this is going to be something that's brand new for Shannon and I.
Right.
We're definitely going in that direction. I would say that much.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's definitely
But I guess
something
you're
too. It's
right.
not like something you and I long for because it was never part of our journey.
No.
So,
I think in the beginning we did, and then
no,
you
yeah.
know,
At the beginning, we were like,
it
yeah,
goes away.
it does.
Kind of like when you have a baby and you long for sleep, and
Yeah.
after a while you just get used to it.
And there's no place I'd rather be but with you guys. But I would love to go away overnight. I would love that. And we should do it. We should
Yeah.
do that. Great idea. We're going to put it on the calendar. I'm not even kidding. I think we should. Riley King. Riley, you are the man. Riley, everybody check out the Riley King network. He has his own network. Check it out on Facebook. He does news. He does all kinds of wonderful things. He's incredibly smart, incredibly entertaining, and he's right up to date with all of the latest current events going on.
Yeah, he's great.
Great newsman. Great newsman. Riley wants to know what kind of camera we're using for vlogging. I guess he might want to do some vlogging himself. So we are using the Canon G7X.
We just bought it.
Just got it. Stefan recommended it to us. Apparently it was a camera that Casey Neistat uses, and he's a super famous vlogger.
Right.
And there's a ton of great reviews on it, Riley, so check it out.
Check
the
it out,
Canon
buddy.
G7X.
Where did we get it, at Best Buy?
Yeah. Yeah, it was around, it wasn't that expensive either. I don't know, what was it, like $500 500 and change.
I think so.
500 and change or something along those lines. I mean,
Right.
for a quality, it's a lot of money, yes, but for a camera of this quality, I think it was a great deal.
Sure, yeah.
All right, Kathy Melton. Another one who's got Kathy knows us well.
Yes.
I feel like we talk to her every single day.
I know.
Really smart, great ideas, so kind, always compliments, always
Yes.
so loving.
Very complimentary.
All right, Kathy Melton, she said, you have a great marriage and beautiful boys from the start. Did the diagnosis and coming to terms with Nick's needs have an impact on your marriage and your relationships with your families and friends? How did you find your way and where are you now? Wow, that's a lot. That's a great question though. Impact on our marriage. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Go first.
I think it made our marriage stronger. Would you say that?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think the both of us together are two strong individuals. I'm thankful that you're a teacher and you have a background of his educational needs. I'm thankful that I'm a nurse and I have background in planning for his lifespan and trying to figure out and navigate that situation. So you know, John and I, like I said, we have a rule. We can't have a breakdown together.
Nope.
Only one of us can break and the other one has to stay strong.
I agree. I think
I think that made us a little stronger.
it definitely made our marriage stronger, for sure. It was never an issue where one of us was like, I have to escape, you know, and
No.
not be an advocate or the caregiver or that kind of thing.
Right, right.
We were never the kind of family, and I don't know how common this is in 2020 with younger people who just got married. I mean, Shannon and I never did Friday night with the boys. You know, I just didn't. I got married. Look, I talked about this, I think. I fell in love with Shannon the first moment I saw her, and I made her my wife. Nailed it. and she was a kid. She was 17 years old.
Not when I got married.
No, when we met, when I saw you.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of, I like hanging out with Shannon. I like hanging out with my kids. So when he was diagnosed, it wasn't like, shoot, no more weekends with the boys. We just never did that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So there wasn't that piece that was going to be a problem.
I can say that.
Not for you? You didn't have that? You wanted out of this? You were like, let me get away from him?
Not at all. not what I'm going to say at all. What I was going to say is that how did it affect my relationships? I had some friends who just don't understand it. They don't understand that I'm not going to go to, you know, the wineries for 12 hours.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, it's not just John, but when Nick was younger, it was a two-man operation. Somebody had to be on the house duty, somebody had to be on Nick duty.
You got to play zone defense.
Yeah, it was like, you know, you needed a team, and if the team member's out, things fall apart. The other piece is, now that Nick's older, you know, his circle is small. He doesn't have anybody coming over to hang out with him like a friend. So if we leave for the day, I have like this overwhelming guilt. And I know it's not, and I probably shouldn't, because we spend a lot of time with him, but that's the case. He doesn't have a lot of friends. So if I could be friends, not take a place of a friend, but you got to be able to spend some time with him. Otherwise he would be alone.
I don't, like right now, if we were to disappear for overnight, I wouldn't feel guilty. However, when we were younger, we knew that if we weren't there, nobody else was going to pick up that slack in terms of a relationship, in terms of who you were going to spend time with.
Right.
So when you're asking the question, should I go, you know, out on this social event, you know, to the wineries? Well, that means Nicholas is going to be home by himself with Johnny or with whoever.
Right.
And that was another problem, just getting a babysitter, frankly.
Oh yeah, you couldn't.
But we didn't want to leave him.
Right.
You know, we felt like, you know, we needed to take the place of the people that weren't going to be there, the friends, there's no birthday parties, there's no sleepovers, there's none of that stuff.
Yeah. So I think it did, you know, in one end of the spectrum, I don't have the same friends as I did. There's a couple of them, which is
the circle got smaller.
Yeah, and then on the other end of the spectrum, where we're very blessed, we have Mikey and Diana, who is Stefan's mom and dad, and
Yeah.
their other son Ryan, who I almost feel like they became more involved in our lives. They're both teachers. Both their kids are amazing and so accepting.
Stefan's
and
dad has picked up Nicky from school when we were in a jam.
Right.
You know, I mean, they are absolutely.
Yeah, so I think in that
right
aspect, that relationship just blossomed.
Right, and where there's other friends, and this goes to Kathy, the second part of her question, the
Right.
impact on our relationship with friends. You know, there's friends, and people have, like, people should ask themselves that question. Do you have a close friend where you can't ask them to help you out in a jam, like, can you get my kid from school? If your friendship isn't really like that, we don't have any room for those people. There's just not
Right.
enough room.
In-
Not that I dislike them or
Right,
anything. I
it's
still
just
love
we're
everybody,
busy.
but I just don't have
Right.
the room to have them in the mix.
Yes, and I have some friends that they get it. They know how busy I am.
Yeah.
And last week I had a friend come over. We went and walked to the beach. It was fabulous. I couldn't have asked for a nicer day. But not everybody understands. But she, you know, she has a brother with issues, so she gets it. She knows. I think most of our friends understand because they have somebody in their life with special needs,
Right.
or they're a teacher or a professional that, you know, that's what they do. They're caretakers.
And occasionally family doesn't get it either, like where you'll get asked to
Of
do
course.
certain things that, you know, you just can't do, you
No.
know, and I don't even want to go too deep into that piece, but that's the thing, like,
It's definitely affected our relationships with family as well.
at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, why are you asking us to do this? You know, that's not going to work for our
Right,
situation.
right.
So,
Happens.
yep. All right, great question, Kathy. Thank you so much. All right, the next one is from Wusami.
Who is
Wusami?
me? Who is me?
It says Wusami. I know, it's who is me. Yeah, but that's what
I think that's
hilarious.
Emily. I think that's Emily.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is Emmy?
Okay. She's from Instagram and she wants to know if Nick's ever been on an airplane.
Twice.
And how did he do?
Amazing.
It was so much fun.
And again, the first time, who did we go with?
Mikey and Diana, Stefan
who
and
are
Ryan.
Stefan and Ryan, who are amazing friends of ours.
And if I interrupt, will you remember what you're going to say?
Yes.
Here's the thing about them as friends, which makes
Right.
them like the amazing things. They help us find things that we can do that we
Right.
weren't really sure if we could do.
Like all the questions are answered.
Yeah, not only
Before I
that,
even asked them.
if things start, like I can tell you this, Mikey saw, when we went skiing, he saw me struggling to get like Nick's snow stuff on and the boots on, and runs over and I got a second set of hands.
Amazing.
Those are the friends that you need.
And that was the first time we went to Florida to their condo.
Oh,
in
for the
Sanibel
airplane.
Island. Yeah. And they knew, like I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe. What are we doing? But Mikey already went on JetBlue, already knows,
Right.
Shannon, you could fill out the papers that he has autism. He gets on the plane first.
Yep.
They'll
JetBlue
give
was
him as
awesome.
many snacks as you want. And Mikey he already knew my questions and he
Yeah.
had the answers for them.
Yep.
Which was awesome. And then we went to Puerto Rico with them,
Do you
which was
remember?
even better. And you know, Mikey and Diana brought their dog on the plane, and it's a little Yorkie, right?
Yeah.
Pixie. So Pixie was the worst behaved one. Nicky was amazing, and he
Remember
was
what he
yelling,
said?
3, 2, 1, blast off! As we were on the
Did the plane go
runway
up?
watching
Blast
the planes.
off.
Blast off!
Yeah.
Plane go up, and everybody
He was great.
just, it was awesome.
He was great.
It was awesome. But I don't think I would have done it without them. Would
No.
you?
No, that's what I was saying. They've helped us, discover what Nick can. They definitely push the limits
They
of
do.
what we think Nick's able to do. And then when we're done, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he was able to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I can see the battery lights flashing. We might have to switch cameras.
Okay,
Let's just keep it going.
all right.
All right, the next one says, this is from,
My Asperger's life. Question for Johnny.
what is he studying in college? Question, should we let Johnny answer that one? John, we can answer that one. He's with Nicky in his room right now. Johnny is studying business administration.
Yeah.
What is he studying? So business administration. Question about Nicky. What job do you see him doing in the future? That's a great question. I think Nick's going to be able to do a lot.
I do too. I think because he likes things a certain way, like his zippers up, everything standing upright, plays into it. We should play on his OCD, and he should have something
Definitely.
like a job like that, almost like organizing or...
Yeah, well, we've talked about starting a pajama company because he
Right.
loves pajamas so much. I
Yeah.
think he would be amazing at, folding, packing, organizing shelves and things of that nature.
Definitely.
Yeah, we kind of see ourselves, if this idea comes to fruition, which I think it will, frankly, selling pajamas out of a building.
Right.
Probably will start here, where where we have like a warehouse office kind of thing, where we get orders and they get fulfilled.
Sure.
I think Nick would
By
be great
people
at
with
that.
special needs.
Yep, definitely.
Definitely.
What? How do you say that?
Miss Brown.
Miss Brown. We're just gonna say Miss Brown because we can't say the first name.
Yeah.
Araya.
Araya.
I love this channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Ryan. My question is, when did Nicky start talking, and what is his favorite song? I love the talking one. I mean, Nicky was virtually nonverbal until what? He spoke in
When
one
he went
word.
to Babylon, so 5th grade, so 10?
10, but he could speak in one word sentences. I would say.
But not everybody could understand him.
No, they couldn't exactly. We always were able to figure out what he needed.
Right.
He didn't start stringing words together in more than 3 words until last year.
Right.
I would say 2019. Toward the end of 2019,
Yeah.
he started to string together 3 and 4 word sentences.
Right. And this year,
And then
2020, his speech
explosion.
just exploded.
Yeah, he's speaking.
This is all new.
Yeah, and then plus being able to process multi-step directions
Yep.
and things of that nature. Like if you're following the videos, like we have taken it to the next level and said, all right, Nicholas, go upstairs and make your bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go and check, which is a lot of fun for us to take part in, for sure.
So much fun.
But that's the story with his speech. I mean, there was a
Right.
time where we were considering putting all our eggs in the sign language basket and going full force there, and
Right.
utilizing a communication device for ordering pizza and things of that nature. But no,
Somebody, was it Mrs. Schiff who said he's going to talk?
they told us this when he was young.
Right.
No,
They
it wasn't
told us-
Mrs. Schiff because it was before Babylon.
They told us he would talk at like 15.
That was
Remember?
one. Well, that was one person at an IEP meeting where they saw Mom and Dad's face,
Yeah.
and she said to us, "He's going to talk. I know he's going to talk, and it's going to happen." She said when he's 14 or something like that. She was so sure. He hadn't shown any clues that. All right, we're back. Oh, okay, that's going to be on the.
So we were talking about speech.
We were talking about speech. I think we answered that question pretty fully.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We got some great help in terms of his education in Babylon.
Yeah.
It exploded this past year.
Putting him into district has made a significant impact on his
Yes.
success.
Plus, he has a school teacher who FaceTimes him almost every night. And that kind of thing is going to help. And we talk to him all the time. And I have to tell you, and this is something I'm going to add in there. I take a lot of heat sometimes in the well, I shouldn't say a lot of heat.
You do.
I've taken some heat in the comments for asking Nicholas too many questions. I've had people say, "Leave him alone, John." And here's what that is all about. I'm trying all the time to facilitate conversation.
Yes.
Now, are there times where if he gives me a clue that says, "Dad, back off, it's not the time"? Yeah,
We'll back off.
I have my antenna up for that.
Sure. Always. For every situation.
Having said that, do I do it perfectly? No. I make mistakes sometimes, for sure, but that's the objective. I'm asking him questions because I want him
trying to expand his conversational
exactly.
speech.
So
it's
that's
important.
what that is all about, yeah.
And what people don't understand is, yes, he has us in his face, he has his teachers in his face all day, and then we know as parents, okay, he needs downtime. Like today, he is laying down with Johnny and they're watching a movie. He's getting his downtime in.
Yes.
But, we're going to let him do that for a little while, and then it's time to pick up the speed, kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, Good job, John.
Thanks, honey.
What's next?
Susan. You've had so many milestones this past year. What are your goals for him for 2021? We talked a little bit about that in some videos. One of the big goals that we would like to see happen this year, and there's several, but for me, we want to expand his ability to tell us what happened during the day. And that is the biggest fear. I had Jamie asked me in the barbershop yesterday if Nick lived in a group home. She didn't know if he lived with us. And I was like, no, he lives with us. Not that I'm casting judgment on anyone, but the biggest fear that I have, it's always been this way.
I share that fear.
Since he can't tell us what happened during the day, we take this incredible leap of faith every single time he leaves us. Right? And so, and little by little, he's able to express to us, what's happening during the day, but
still not.
No, he can't tell us specifically. This person was mean to me, or this person yelled at me, or this person pulled my hair, or something. Crazy.
Yeah.
He can't advocate for himself like that.
No, and then there are days where he comes in the house and he's explosive and upset, and we don't know why.
Much less now than in the past, but when he was younger, we know something happened.
Yeah, and he still can't tell us.
Right, and so that is a huge goal for 2021 to increase his ability to, just communicate to us what happens when we're not around.
Yeah.
And the teachers are all, absolutely, and Mrs. Harrison is totally on board with that. She shares that concern as well.
Right.
So I think that's
That's a big one.
Yeah, and then just to move forward, continuing with his march toward his fitness. Oh, his diet, right? I was just going to say that, moving toward even more independence. Like all of the things that we're doing right now is with support from us or from Sam and Johnny. So we want him to become more independent, but we're also going to get him to improve his diet this year,
which he's doing great on.
He just started drinking water.
He drinks a whole 16-ounce glass of water, and somebody asked us how we did that, so we could just jump to that question.
How did we do that?
So Sam started the water.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Harrison said, send a water bottle into school. So there's always a thing. We always want our kids to be really well behaved outside our house, right? Isn't that every parent's goal for every kid?
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point, if you have somebody in their life like the teacher or like somebody, Sam, have them do it. Have them initiate it, because a kid's going to kick us back. They're going to give us back talk.
Find somebody. Yeah, definitely. Find somebody who the kid respects.
Yeah.
To get them to do that.
Sure. And like last night at dinner, I said to him, he wanted juice, and I said, well, drink your glass of water and then you could have, your juice. And he had no problem. He didn't say boo to me. Yeah. He drank 16 ounces of water and looked at me and said, can I have my juice? I said, yes.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Yep.
They're
having fun in there.
Oh my God, they're wrestling, it sounds like.
All right, so Neve has a great question.
Okay.
Oh boy, this one's deep. What is all of you guys' favorite things about each other, but not the big things like progress or positivity or acceptance, but things like loving Nicky's stealth when he wants to steal some candy? You guys also teach Nicky so much, but what has he taught you? What is this journey? What has this journey he has invited you on meant to you? Again, doesn't have to be the big things. It could be Nicky's carefreeness and showing that you can wear PJs to the beach if you want to. No one who matters. What does that say?
No one who matters cares.
Okay.
Love it.
Love it very much.
You're right about
that.
that.
Do you want to go first? Favorite things about each other.
Favorite thing about each other? My favorite thing about you is how loving you are to all of us and affectionate. The second favorite thing I have about you is your enthusiasm for life.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I know everybody kind of.
I love enthusiasm. I love
gives you a lot of heat
people.
over it, but.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Tone it down, John. This is just me.
That's John.
It's who I am. And if I did it any other way, I wouldn't be true to who I am.
Exactly. And I believe me, we joke around about this a lot. I don't think
I think being loving is the only way to be. You know, I mean, I tell the kids 10, 12, 15, 20 times a day that I love them.
Yep.
I'm not gonna, you know, that's a great way to be.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. I've never had any questions in my life because of my parents that I was loved. I've never, ever. Everything can go wrong, but I never doubted for a second of whether or not I was loved. That's because they told me all the time.
You had this amazing father.
And mother.
That just, you know,
Yes.
exudes love from every orifice.
Yes, indeed.
Is what I say.
Yep. My favorite things about you. Shannon is so profoundly protective.
Oh, good one.
You say something mean to, I could be dead wrong. You come at me, Shannon's she's coming after you. And the comments are all so nice.
Uh-huh.
And we just made it a practice. If you write something to me, we're not going to respond.
Right.
It's not what we're here for.
No.
But I have to be careful with what I even share with her, you know, if something happened between me and a colleague or whatever, because Shannon now hates them forever. and while you know, you would never act on that kind of thing, you know, I appreciate that. I do. Because I'm not always right, I'm not always perfect, but you still are not going to side with someone who has something bad to say about me or the kids, and I really appreciate that.
That's a good one.
What
else? There was a couple of questions embedded in here. What are our
What does
favorite
Nick
things
talk-
about Nicky?
What are our favorite? Oh, but not the big things. Nicky, can I go first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, he's so snuggly. You want to feel good? You just get a hug on Nick. He always smells good too. God, he's like kind of like your hair. It's probably rubbing off. He's just delicious to hug. I mean, it is just the most beautiful thing. Thomas, my nephew Thomas, was over here and his girlfriend Holly, and he loves Holly, and he's hugging on her, and we're like 1, 2, 3, and you could tell Holly didn't want to let go.
Holly wasn't going to let go unless
She's
we
like, oh
made
my
her.
God, this is wonderful.
Yeah, I know.
So I love that affectionate piece about him.
I love Nick's affection too, and I love his realism. And I know that comes from, you know, some people say, well, that comes from his autism. Like, he doesn't argue. If he doesn't want to do something, he's going to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
This is
I love that.
transparency.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Hey, Nicky, you so happy?
Oh, my God. Making snacks. They're hunkering down. And Johnny, what's your favorite thing about Johnny?
Did she ask about that?
She said, what's your favorite thing about everybody?
Johnny is profoundly loving. Tells me he loves me every day.
Yep.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love his transparency as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He is probably the kindest person I've ever known.
Yes.
Much kinder than I was, I think, at his age. I think he's much more sensitive to the needs of the people around him.
Yes. He's
He never
very
hurts
aware
anybody.
Of others. Very aware of other people's emotions.
Yeah.
My biggest thing for him is I love that he is not confrontational at all. He's not competitive at all. That kid, you can't get him to compete in anything, and he sees the good in everybody.
Yeah.
If there's something hard, like we can have a conversation about politics.
Yeah.
And he will flip the script and say, well, you know, this is what is coming out of this. That's good, Mom.
Yeah.
And he just
Or
kind of
he'll try to talk about a path where people can work it out.
Yeah. I love that about him.
Yeah, Johnny's awesome. All right, the last part to Nick's question was, what lessons has Nick taught us?
Patience.
I would say that's the biggest thing. I mean, like one of the biggest things for sure.
Yep.
He
Everything's
will
going to happen.
try your patience for sure.
He will. But on the other, I was thinking about a different aspect of it in patience-wise is that we come from a generation that we want immediate satisfaction.
Yeah.
Right? And with Nick, that was something for me to get used to. So his IEP goals, not always relevant, didn't meet them. And to me, I was harping on that. If you remember, I was like, I had like the chart, the kid, you know, that the pediatrician gives you, and your kid should sit up at this age, walk this age, say this many words at this age, multiply, subtract, and divide at this age, you know? And I was like, this isn't happening.
So you're talking
that's
about patience with what we
his
expect out of his progress. I agree with that. I also think he's teaching us to be patient and acceptant of a new life, frankly.
Sure.
Because we didn't have this life envisioned at all.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so when, Nick's diagnosis came along, this whole new set of expectations and wants and desires and unknown gets thrust into your laps.
Right.
And you have to accept that, and that doesn't happen on day one, frankly. Sure. You could say anything you want. You can say, of course I accept all this, and this is going to be our path, but it takes time for you to
process.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So
and we talked about this previously. I mean,
Yeah.
we could go on and on about it, but it's really more of a grief process because you grieve what you had as expectations
Right.
for your child and
Yeah.
your own life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jordan, hey guys, my question is, how long has Nicky been doing chores? It's great to see him be more independent. I myself am autistic, and recently I've learned how to wash, dry, and iron my clothes
Good job,
independently,
Jordan.
which makes me feel super proud. It's really great to see Nicky improving. He has an awesome support network around him. You guys rock. Well, Jordan, you rock, first
You're
of all.
awesome.
Thank you so much for the comment, and thank you for telling us about yourself, and I'm so happy that you're doing chores. Nicky just started doing chores to the degree that he is since Sam got here.
Since the pandemic.
Look, I mean...
Since last March.
Yeah, but it really didn't start until Sam got here because, and some of us have, we joke around every now and then we want to do more for more for Nicholas than he needs, like tying his shoes and getting him dressed. And we're not doing that anymore. Sam got here and really opened our eyes to what he's capable of.
Sure.
And, just watching all of that happen, that became addictive. Like saying, oh my God, he can do this. And then just pushing a little bit more, finding the right reward and celebrating his victories. So we started doing the chores, I would say, in May. And before that is definitely a 2020 thing. His ability.
We just had the little chart done. I was looking on the fridge from here. And
we weren't
had
asking
like
him to do
2 tasks.
anything. It was nothing.
That was it.
It was nothing. And let me tell you, I wonder if Sam was thinking to himself when he first got here, or even Mrs. Harrison, the Savoca's going to ask Nick to do anything, So.
I didn't.
No, we didn't. I didn't either. And I know a lot of parents can understand. Look, sometimes it's just faster and easier, and you're just trying to get through your day to do the stuff for him.
Right.
And when you have households, especially, 2 working parents, full-time working parents, getting to the end of the day can be a challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
Great question, Jordan. Autism with Grace, another good one. Do you get criticism about Nicky having phone blue a lot? My daughter likes her tablet and my phone. On tough days, I do give it more to her. Some people in my family think it's wrong. Great question. Take a little heat from the comments about that issue blue as well.
So phone blue, but phone blue is new. Phone blue has been, he had it not this Christmas, but the Christmas before. And I actually initiated phone blue because I wanted to help him communicate with us and the rest of his friends and family members, because I figured having a FaceTime, possibly talk to texting, would help him be more conversational. And I had read some studies on it. I think I read some articles on it, and I was like, this is a great idea. And then if you open up your iPhone, you can put in people's contacts, you can put an emergency contact, it has a GPS in there, you could follow and track him. So look, does Nick have phone blue too much? No. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say no. Not any more than any other 15-year-old. He doesn't take phone blue to school, ever, never has. He will give up phone blue, obviously more easily for Sam than you and I. But I also want to say, one more thing. He watches his movies on phone blue.
Yeah.
So when Nick couldn't say, I want juice, all of a sudden he yelled out from upstairs, to infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond. Okay? That is so many syllables to get out of his mouth when he couldn't say, I want juice.
Right. So I think, like you, I think there are a lot of benefits to phone blue, but I do think he has it too much. I think that I would like, as part of his plan for progression, to try to dial that back a bit. I agree with you. I think that there is a tremendous amount of benefit. The vocabulary, this the verbalization piece, the security piece, his ability to figure things out is amazing. That's another question that's in there. We've never programmed anything on Phone Blue.
Nothing.
Nicholas figured everything out.
Right.
Nicholas knows how to shop online better than I do.
Right.
I mean, he's making purchases.
He does. He buys movies on YouTube.
That piece I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna say this thing is evil. Does he have it too much? I think he has it too much. But, look, when you are an autism parent, you have to choose your battles. And you can't fight every day. You can't. You have to have... The number one thing I want in this house is a peaceful household. I want everybody who lives here to want to come home, to find this place a peaceful, happy, safe, loving place. And if we are taking on more than we can, and we are stressed, we're not going to handle things the way we should. And that's going to affect, their ability to prosper here in this house. And so you have to choose your battles. Have we done it perfectly? Maybe not. I think we've done a really, really good job. And I think moving forward, when the time is right, Nicholas will use his phone less. That's what I think. Not something I'm incredibly worried about, I'll tell you that.
No.
All right, next question. Jackie Lowry. Has Nicky had aggressive behaviors when frustrated? If so, how do you handle it?
Good question.
Nicholas has never been aggressive. He has never had any kind of confrontation with another student. Aside from a meltdown where he's yelling and running around, he's never knocked over furniture, those kinds of outbursts where at his old school there were some kids that were desk flippers and that kind of thing. He was never that kind of thing.
Right.
He has had a few explosive outbursts over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
He had one at school when he first came to bat. Well, no, that's two then, because remember when Danielle called as well, and we had the meeting at school.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was a deal where he had a major meltdown at school, and because he couldn't talk, he couldn't say what the problem was.
Right. He had another one with PT.
Right, but it wasn't a deal where, I guess if we're going to say aggressive, I guess the most aggressive thing he's ever done is bite himself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the previous school, there was something going on that we still don't know about. He would hit his head against the wall.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. It's in the past, though. It's in the rearview mirror, and that's, I guess, why it's not...
But that was a red flag got thrown down in the game there because we knew something. If Nick gets aggressive or has such an outburst where he is hitting his head, which is not common, then we know something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Seriously wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's as aggressive as he's ever been, and he hasn't done that. Would you say he's bit himself in 2020? I don't think so.
Maybe once or twice.
In his hand. Yeah, that's where
you
would do it. Not really, but I guess he has had some aggressive behavior, but not something. I'm not so concerned about it. I think, and also, no, definitely never. No, he's never bit anyone else or attacked anyone else or expressed. Nicky has never expressed anger toward another person. Like, I'm angry at you, so I'm going to yell at you, or I'm going to hit you, or this one did this to me. Nicky does not buy into the victim culture. No. He never feels like he's being, as far as I can see, he's never acted out as if someone else were being mean to him. Right?
No, you're right. You're right about that.
How do we handle the relatively aggressive behavior? We just try to
squeeze.
The deep squeezes.
Deep pressure.
Deep pressure. The gentleness. It's very rare that we discipline Nicky where we put him in where he has to do a timeout. And we don't do it when he's at that super heightened, explosive place. I don't think punishing him.
I don't think punishing helps him.
No, not when
it
he's
makes it
having a
worse.
meltdown. Absolutely.
Deep pressure, so any kind of
deep
sensory
pressure,
input.
deep breathing, calm talk, calm household.
Environment.
Everybody stops moving. You know, we're gonna sit. We're gonna just try to get as calm as we can. I'll play guitar for him. Sometimes that will help.
And how do you discipline a nonverbal child? I'm gonna say something.
Let's hear it.
Somebody else pointed out this week on the video. So Nicholas knows every word to the song "You Are My Sunshine."
Yes.
Now, yes, I think I have sung that to him since the day he was born. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Keep talking to your child that's nonverbal.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yes.
Don't stop, because they are listening to you and they will start talking. Number two, you will discipline them just like you would anybody else. If he's misbehaving in a restaurant and throwing a French fry, we tell him, knock it off. That's not nice. Don't do that. I don't like that. Or if he yells like, "Hey, Mom," and yells at me for something, I'll say, "Don't talk to me like that. I don't like that." Just like I would to Johnny. And he gets it. He understands it. Just because maybe he wasn't nonverbal, now I think you and I are both picking up, he was absorbing everything we said to him for all these years.
What makes us proud? I'm going to say everything. Every single
big and small.
thing.
Yep. Everything he does makes us proud.
And happy.
Yep.
So the questions were amazing. My God, our viewers are just so incredible.
Yeah.
Smart, well thought out, deep questions, multi-layered questions. Really appreciate that. Made for some great conversation.
We have a great community.
We have an amazing community.
That.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so glad that you spent some of your Sunday with us. I mean, we couldn't be happier than to have you here with us in our living room with our fireplace and our beach, because it's like 18 degrees outside.
It's frigid.
Totally.
But it's nice and toasty in here.
That's all the questions. We have more. We're going to sprinkle them into some other videos. But thanks again to everybody who put those questions online for us all over the place. And thanks, Natasha.
For putting them together.
For putting them together and putting them on all of the different social media platforms. That was really awesome.
It's great.
God bless you. We love you. And we'll see you next time.